Destroying the blue pill that the PNP gave the Jamaican people to keep them in the matrix in relation to inflation. Let us explain inflation in this regard. First, let us check out a first world country, the UK inflation. Bear in mind that their GDP stand at £2.7 trillion.
The problem is you don't get much for £1 these days, and households are the ones feeling the pain.
It's just everything you look at's gone up. Everything. It's frightening.
Very dear, very dear. Everything going up.
We have to watch what we spend on that, and plus, if we haven't got any money, we've got to do without.
The prices seen at Leeds Market and across the country have surprised economists and also policymakers. Food inflation remains basically unmoved today at 19%.
Okay, let us check out Canada, whose GDP stand at $2.7 trillion. Also, I think it is the 5th largest economy in the world. Watch this, people.
Yeah, the food is outrageous. Yeah, so I'm shopping more regularly now, trying to find the deals.
What was once a mundane task is now a strategic bargain hunt for many grocery shoppers. New research by the Dalhousie Agri-Food Analytics Lab, which surveyed 5,000 Canadians, shows consumers have been shifting the way they shop. Over 60% have altered their spending habits, turning to coupons and loyalty programs. 64% are buying generic brands over national brands, and 59% are more inclined to visit discount stores, including dollar stores. Something many worry could have long-term health implications.
What we're seeing is that over half of Canadians are actually prioritizing costs over nutrition, which is pretty significant.
Okay, so let us check out the McDaddies of them all, the great United States of America, whose GDP stand at $22 trillion, the largest economy in the world. Let's hear what they had to say in relation to inflation.
American consumers are feeling the pinch when it comes to the cost of food. According to the USDA, consumers spent more than 11% of their disposable income on food in 2022. That is the highest since 1991. So I want you to explain what that means, because we're not just talking about your grocery bill. We're talking about all spending on food.
So this is really a metric that's about the share of our disposable personal income, which USDA tracks, and which recently was at essentially a 31-year high. And this is, food, the share of our personal income that we have spent on food has really been broadly declining for many, many years. And then in 2022, the latest, the date that we have available, the latest available data for, we really saw a spike. And that
The truth is, Jamaica, this is the truth, like I really just sang. Hear this.
One of the things that's interesting about this particular period of inflation that we're in is this is a worldwide phenomenon.
Yes, a phenomena, which means it is an immediate attention that need to look into in relation to the main cause of it, and also action that they can use to mitigate it. Until then, the external shocks from these powerhouses of a country will affect poor little Jamaican supply chain, causing us to have external inflation. But what is external inflation? This is when a country import goods from another country. Their price can directly affect domestic inflation. If the cost for imported items rises due to the global supply chain disrupted, which is taking place now, and higher production causes, which is taking place now, this can affect inflation. So people, external inflation is taking place now, not internal inflation, which basically this is when we have bad governance, bad use of the country resources, and also the implementation of bad economic policies like in the 90s that lead to the collapse of the financial sector in Jamaica. And also a depreciation of the country's currency, like the devaluation of the Jamaican dollar, can also lead to inflation. But hear this. When a country currency become weak, that means importation become more expensive. That's why it is so paramount. It is very important that the dollar is stabilized. And on paper, it is only the JLP that does that. Again, on paper and record, it is only the JLP that does that. An example where the exchange rate was unstable and become weakened and inflation wrecked us was in the 90s, where literally the economic system crashed. The financial system of Jamaica crashed. The third worst financial wreck in the world. Third only to Indonesia and Argentina. Jamaica was experiencing inflation rate of up to 77%. That's crazy. So in summary, people, food prices is high everywhere around the world. It is something that the entire world, not only Jamaica, is facing. In 2022, you have countries that are witnessing inflation in double digit like Germany, and also close to triple digit like Argentina, and even worse, triple digit inflation like Venezuela and other countries. So people, I hope you learned something today, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for more information. You know, the Phoenix King. The PMP is king when it comes on to devaluation and also inflation. The PMP is the reason why Jamaica is poor, and statistics do not lie. Here's why. After Manley's madness in the 70s, the PMP inherit an inflation rate from Siaga of 14.33% in 1989 election and increase it by 77% by 1992. Madness, while other countries of the world basically reap the benefit of a good global economy, we basically under high inflation and high interest rate. Okay, them reduce it to 9% by 1998, and by 2007 the fuck of them increase it to over 23% again. The JLP won in 2007, and despite of the world global crisis, financial crisis, yes, the JLP brought down the inflation rate to 7%. You can imagine, in a world global economic crisis, everything basically liquidated and melt down, literally. You see, the PMP could have never ever handled this financial crisis and come out like this, never. Yet they took office in 2011 and managed to keep the inflation rate steady, but when you check it out, as it relates to inflation rate in 2019, it was actually 3.91%, one of the lowest inflation rate Jamaica has ever recorded until COVID. And we know how impactful that was as it related to how it affected the world economy. Also the war in Ukraine, that the US basically put a lot of sanction and that basically block up a lot of supply chain for Jamaica, thus cause inflation to rise to 6.6%. Little bit above targeted, but on an average. So the average inflation rate for the PMP between 1989 and 2023 is actually 16%, while for the JLP is actually like 6% when you do the maths. So who basically damaged Jamaica economy? Actually, it's the damn PMP, literally. And these are the statistic chart, and these are the sources. I know a lot of persons were gonna come at me, so eat in the heart out.